We're live.
Are we?
Yeah, it says so right there.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah.
Hey, we're
Hi.
together today.
Woo!
Woo!
Happy Sunday.
And we have a live audience for the first time.
I know.
Caller. Hello. Where's our hostess? We lost our hostess.
Yes, we
the
did.
hostess with the mostest.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yay.
Yay. It's kind of cool.
I know.
Sitting by you.
I know. We got to do it more often.
Now what do we do?
I don't remember. Anybody who's used to our show by now is used to us not knowing what the hell we're doing. Excuse me. So, welcome to Immersion into Source once again, Sundays and Wednesdays. We come to you with all things metaphysical.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's topic being letting go of daily stuff.
Yeah.
Which sounds like kind of a physical problem.
But it's not.
But it is.
Well, it is, but it's not. That's not where it begins. It's not where it starts. That's just how it manifests most of the time.
Yeah, good. See, that's why she's with me.
Yeah.
She's so wise.
I have
I'm
my
so
moments.
not. So, but before we do that, we're going to have our healing session like we do every time.
Mm-hmm.
Where we'll be channeling
source energy that will come to you and to these lovely ladies here, and we will Karen's going to go off screen, and she's going to channel these energies. And what we want you to do is what our friends here are doing. We want you to lay down. We want you to close your eyes and go internal and just allow whatever is going to happen to you to happen, because everybody feels it a little differently. Some of you will feel all kinds of tingles, and some people might not feel anything, and some people will see things, and you might feel a pain, and you just want to breathe through that and just allow it to move on through, because you're letting it go.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because we're live, or I have live bodies in the room with me, I can go and step on them. No, I mean, really, I can, if there's a need. So I don't know, maybe I'll wander around the room. That'll be different.
That'll be fun.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So Wendy will be here waving at you, but you're not going to see her, right? Because your eyes are going to be closed.
That's right.
You're going to be paying attention to what's going on in yourself. And it may be a physical sensation. It may be emotional. Because we are having our little physical experience here, our higher selves, our eternal selves are driving where that healing energy is going to go. So you're saying, I got a backache. I really want that to get healed. Maybe it will, but maybe there's something more root cause, more definitive, more expansive, that will have a broader effect.
Right.
And maybe that's where it goes. But again, if you feel pain, physical pain, emotional pain, go with it. And it's always good to cry.
Yeah.
In my work, if I make somebody cry or puke, it was a good day. Really, if someone doesn't cry, I'm like, man, I didn't get through. Okay. And then when we come back, we will explore the topic, which is letting go of daily stuff.
Yes.
And so if you want to have any questions, you would go in the chat bar on the right side there and post them, and we'll respond.
Perfect. All right.
Usually.
Enjoy.
We do. I don't know. When he does that, I'm along for the ride. Okay. Okay.
Oh, yes. I was very distracted during this because I was so concerned the chat box wasn't working, but thank you for making a comment because now I know it is.
Okay. Although, I really don't see all the chat stuff from here. I don't know why.
Well, it looks like I am.
So, I can, shoot, hold on everybody, 1 second. I think you can still talk. I mean, they'll still see us. So why don't you pose, tell me, did you experience anything while that we were going on?
Well, my experience was sporadic because I kept thinking about this, but when I was, and that's why we tell you all to make it internal, because when you're being distracted by other things, then you're not going to feel anything. And for myself, when I was feeling it, it was just very softening of my shoulders, and my guides showed themselves to me in a rainbow. Ooh. Which is really cool. Ooh. Yeah. And just a softening in my heart too, where I just really was feeling that. So that's nice. Yeah.
So, all right. Okay. It's a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
So are you ready? Do you guys want to make any comments about what you experienced? Anybody? No, that's okay. All right. So we'll just start in on the subject.
Okay.
So I want to know how we know that we have something to let go of. I mean, obviously there's some times where it's obvious, but there's other times where I've gone in for healings and they're like, you got to let go of that. And I'm like, let go of what? I thought I'd let go of, what you're talking about a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. So that's more, that's not so much a daily thing. You're talking about like healing from past experiences kind of a thing?
Possibly.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And that there are multiple levels of healing, because we are complex. We are, physical, emotional, spiritual, egos. There are so many aspects of ourselves. And I'm sure there are many. Yeah, there are all kinds of other aspects of ourselves that we don't even recognize that we have. Mm-hmm. They talk about third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth, sixth. It goes on, and they're all different pieces of the same. So that Rubik's Cube starts getting more and more sides to it, mm-hmm. and think colors get all mixed up. And so, but when you mess up a color, red is supposed to be all nice together. If one red one is off, that affects the blue or whatever other side. Mm-hmm. It affects everything else. It doesn't just affect one, because if one's off, they all have to be off because they're all connected to each other. I love that example. Thanks. That's a great example, I think. Anyway, so your question is, how do you know?
Right. Are there any signs, like physical or emotional, just things that to make us more aware that is actually something we should be looking at to feel better at any
so
point?
When we get those, like the things in between the shoulder, that kind of hook, mm-hmm. That's kind of something's hanging on us, then you know that you're not in the flow. I mean, being constantly in a state of grace is not why we're here, because we have to have that experience of the ebb and flow, challenges and tests and difficulties and all these things. But that is interspersed with love and joy and all these things, and bringing those together is our growth pattern. Mm-hmm. But to come here and just be constantly, then it's kind of pointless. So whenever you're not in the flow and feeling this, to pay attention. Okay, so where am I off? It could be that your stomach, you're hungry, or something's bothering you because maybe your partner said something at dinner last night that you're like, what do you mean by that, or whatever,
Yeah.
So I think they're showing, like, it's just, you can feel like a peace in your energetic, and you can feel it in you.
Okay.
Don't,
So
don't
just
you
pay
agree?
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sometimes there's some things where it's really obvious. It's like if you have a disagreement and you're not feeling right the next day, that would be good for a daily thing. But there's other times where there's maybe many little daily things and you're not recognizing it. Like
Yeah.
maybe you've got a coworker that just is under your skin, but you're not acknowledging it or something, where there's something.
Anyone with whom you're having any kind of interaction, from somebody at the traffic sign with you, to a coworker that you see every day, to a partner, to the grocery store clerk, anytime that you have an unclear connection,
Mm-hmm.
when it's shrouded with stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's because you're bringing in other stuff.
Okay.
And often the other person is too,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to own what's mine. What am I bringing this, and where am I unclear, and what am I clouded on what I'm bringing? I had a client working with today on the phone, and she's entering a new relationship, and it's very clear that she has to see this new person as this person is, and not overshadowed by previous experiences. And we do that all the time, all the time.
Yes.
And it's not a conscious thing. So we're not aware that we're doing, we're not like going through this mind process of, oh, well, that bugs me because Bill used to do that. And that bugs me because Jane used to do that.
Right.
We just got reacting. Oh,
right. That makes sense.
So if there's something that clear, okay, so why? Why am I not able to be face to face with you? Why am I not able to just let it
be
flow?
honest?
Yeah.
And be honest. Right. Well, so that leads me to my next question is, how do we let go?
Okay.
How do we do it? Because people always say, well, let go of that. Okay. So I joyfully and willingly let go of this, and you feel the same. So what do you do?
Affirmations are tough because they're in your head. You got to get it into your heart and your gut. So you have to make yourself believe it.
Okay.
In a gut way. You have to get it so your body believes it, not just your head believes it.
Okay. So help me out there.
Okay.
Well, help them out.
Well,
Us.
okay. So let's see if they'll give us, because they do that sometimes for us. They give us like one exercise, because usually I do a one-on-one. This is exercise that's going to work for you. This is going to work for you. But let's get
just something general.
Let me get a generic answer here. So I'm sorry, the question was, how do we let go? Is it somewhere?
Well, I specifically want to know about what things we're not aware of, but what we're aware of would be helpful too.
State of grace. So obviously prayer. So starting off your day, starting off your activities, of getting centered, of being having that intention of walking purely as long as you can. And sometimes, it lasts you a whole 5 minutes and then you have to do it again, but that's a good platform to start from.
Okay.
So because the more jumbled you are, then everything kind of adds on to it. So you got to wash the slate and go, starting fresh, So starting fresh, letting things go. We're trying to let things go, but starting fresh. And so if that means you have a mantra that you say, or a prayer that you say, get centered, without actually a prayer, but something to get yourself into that moment so that the other stuff isn't crowding into your space. So you have the room to maneuver through the experience. It gets crowded when you've got all this stuff hanging, you know what I mean?
Right.
When you're like, my mom said this, I have to cross my legs and I have to, I have to be polite and I have to,
elbows off the table.
Yeah. I mean, all those things crowd in on you and you can't just be, Oh, I know that bald men are going to behave this way and, women with red hair are going to behave that way. And because of our experience, so it crowds in and it gets really confusing.
So it's hard to see clear.
It's hard to
Right.
just be.
Right.
You know, I was in my 30s before I could like not be freaked out with older men because I'd been abused by them when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, and it was always crowding me.
Yes. And now it's better.
And oh, so much better, so nice.
How do you let go of daily stuff with so much unknown? Finances, leaving a job without a new one, kids, clearly burdened by a divorce. How do you let go with so much influx?
With so much influx, yeah. Same. Centering, allowing. We have the greatest power that exists right at our fingertips, closer than our fingertips. And you can call that God, you can call that source, you can call that all that is, you can call it your inner self, whatever you want to call it. It's right there, and we don't utilize it enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cup of water, you're thirsty, drink it. It's right there.
I like that.
Okay.
So I just typed a message into the chat room asking if anybody out there had questions, and it came out, hello, which I was trying to type when test came out. So if you have any questions, please jump on there and make notes.
So, okay, so is that full? Does that, whoever asked that, is that complete, or do you need more to that?
Does anybody else have one?
It's there.
Okay.
Is it helpful to know what you need to let go of?
It's helpful if you're not walking in faith. Like if you're trusting that source is taking care of you, then you're okay. And obviously for all of us, some days are better than others. You know, some days I can be like, I'm good. I just know that whatever happens is good. Other days, not so much. I'm like, what the heck was that about? I need you. So optimally, you get to where you're all good with it. So take care of yourself. If you're not going to be able to relax without knowing, then follow it. Or just try on just try on how does it feel to not know. And just be okay with it.
That was hard at first.
And just be okay with knowing that it's okay, that it is what it is. And I know that somebody's got it covered. I don't have to worry about it. And it's actually kind of nice because we have so many things like all this, finances and divorce and kids and whatever they were talking. They said, we have so many things on our plate. Isn't it nice when you just go, oh, yeah, thanks. You got it.
I know, I do get it. But the first time somebody said, it was the control part of me. The first time somebody said, well, do you really need to know? Well, yeah, I do actually. I need to know. But I had to, in that situation, I was like, no, I don't really need to know.
Yeah.
So it took me a little bit of time to accept that. I really don't need to know. I don't care. I feel better. And like you said, it's nice to know somebody else is taking care of some of those little details, even some of the big ones. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting things set up properly, meet the right people at the right time, and, those kinds of things.
Like I had today with my car.
Yes.
I had an engine thing with my car today, so I wasn't going to be able to come here. Or what? Aunt Wendy came and got me. But then I went in the house and I was looking online trying to figure out what that, what that could possibly mean. The manual was kind of vague. And anyway, long story short, in the meantime, while I was trying to figure out, I called and canceled an appointment that I had for Tuesday because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it because of the car. Something's wrong with the car. And then there was the thing that might be the brake lights. So I went out to check the brake lights, and it wasn't the brake lights, but the symbol, the check engine light, was gone. And I drove around trying to, I'm like, that's weird. So I drove around trying to, and I'm like, I really wasn't supposed to go to that thing on Tuesday,
You
so
cancel it. And
then poof, my car was good,
Do you have something over there for me, Drew?
She's writing.
Okay. I'm checking.
I have some, but do I have to write it down because it's like.
Go ahead and talk. Say it. Just say it.
That's all right. It's because the guy I'm seeing, he presented this with me this morning, and I got this. His father had passed away some years ago, but he has this guilt around the type of son he was prior to his father passing.
Okay.
And he seems to struggle with letting go of the guilt. So he threw that out this morning to me. And I didn't have a quick answer other than maybe go through the 12 steps and help you clear through it.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering what you.
Okay. So the question is, there's someone in her life whose father passed, and they were concerned that they were not a good son while the father was here, and now it's been however long, and the son is still carrying guilt around that, and how could he let that go? So they're like, obviously, and when I'm using words, it's not the attitude, it's not the obviously attitude. I mean, they're just like, clearly the answer is talk to your dad, and not everybody accepts that they could just talk to their dad, even though they're no longer in physical form. But that's the easiest and quickest way, is just to be like, hey, I love you. I feel like maybe I wasn't, a good enough child. And again, this always comes back to, so many times, it comes back to our living this life as if this is the end all be all. If you have eternal life, and you understand that you do, then if you weren't a good son for whatever reason, it's okay, because you're going to see your dad in the next life and you'll resolve it. It's not like you can't, it's not like it's done. You can't, that you're screwed. Like, oh, I blew my chance. You didn't, because you've got forever,
Right.
We get so like, this is it. This is everything. Whatever I didn't do here, whatever I didn't accomplish in this life, I'm screwed.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
it's not it.
Well, and there's also the part about, and I think that this is hard for us to accept, is that our souls have to play all different parts. Like, we're not always going to be the perfect loving son in every single lifetime, so you need to experience I was a really good son and maybe I was not such a great son.
Mm-hmm.
That helps your soul grow. And I think sometimes the ego part of us has a hard time accepting that.
Hold on, I think the father's saying something.
Oh, nice.
There was like some distance between them.
They were very, to my understanding, they were extremely, well, I'm going to say they worked together extremely close, but there was a distance maybe as far as
Emotional.
emotion.
Yeah. So that's what he's saying, the distance, but he understands it, and he doesn't like hold it against him or whatever. He gets it. It's not something that he's like upset about or whatever. He's just saying, yeah, there was distance, but it is what it. And he, the father, it wasn't like he made it any easier or whatever, So, there's complicit. It's a two-way street, and really, the parent. As a parent, that's our role to be the parent, to be the one that creates the environment for the relationship. That doesn't mean the child has free will that has free range to just stop all over the parent, but the more of the burden is on the parent. If I am raising a child in a toxic environment, it's not the child's fault. It's me. If I'm not being loving and and again, I have eternal life, so it's not like I'm in big trouble, but so yeah, so anyway, so he's just saying, that yes, there was distance, but that was, a lot of it was created at my end. And so it's all good.
Okay. What I really get stuck on is when people are mean to me. How do I fully let go of that? I try yoga, meditation, walking, etc., but sometimes I still am holding on to it.
Smile back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Smile back. And that takes it off because you send out that energy of the smile and the glop doesn't stick. I know it sounds easier than it is, but just try it. And maybe the first time you can only get a little crappy little grin in there, but just try it. Just try and just have a nice day, and try to beat it, You're pulling it, then it can't stick to you.
And what about for the instances that have already occurred that are still stuck?
You can still do that.
Just smile at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is no time. So, we know, like when we do healing work and we take you back to where you're 2 years old and we heal you from year 2, it changes everything, changes past generations, future generations. There's no time. It is.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Gotta love it.
Confusing as heck, but.
Wow. I can't tell if there's any questions there at all.
Okay.
I know you guys done?
Yeah, see.
So I'm sorry.
I told you, for some reason, I don't see them, and I don't know why. That makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
And you're going, oh, this, and this.
Well, that's what you have me for.
Yeah. So now we know next time we do have to set it up so that you can
Yeah.
have it. So all of you out there that have commented and posted and whatever, asked questions, I apologize. But we wanted to do this like this way, we thought it'd be different and be fun. We'll try it again, but we'll have it set up differently. In the meantime, have a great Labor Day.
That's right. Enjoy your day tomorrow.
Yeah. The end of summer before we get into fall. Fall is my favorite season.
It really is.
Is it yours too?
Yeah.
Whew. See, I know the reason I liked her. And I guess we'll call it a night unless anybody else here has anything.
Nope.
No.
Thank you all
I
for
got stuff
joining
to tell
us.
all of you guys too
All right.
from this healing session.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Love you.
night.